Types of property deed. Welcome back. Today's episode is a discussion on types of property deed. Now, this causes a lot of confusion. I'll try to clear some of that up for you. So if you're a newcomer, expect to hear a lot of confusion between buyers, sellers, and in many instances, the professionals. People get this confused. It's not that tough, but let's see if we can help you out. Fortunately, real estate transactions are usually finalized at a title company or an attorney's office, and those people are specialists, so very few mistakes actually happen when it's all said and done. But on the way, people are confused and a little unsure of what they're doing. Obviously, there's a lot of money involved in real estate, so people are concerned and they're nervous when it comes to the closing and when it comes to these documentation. The process is not difficult, so let's get into it. So maybe you're an entrepreneur. Now, people who are entrepreneurs, they have all kinds of different motivations for becoming that entrepreneur. Now, maybe you're doing it because you dream about being very wealthy or being very famous. I don't know which it is that you want, but it's going to be a challenge. Now, what's the challenge? If you're thinking you want more freedom, well, I get it. That's what most people want as an entrepreneur. They want to choose what they do, and they want to choose to do it when they want to do it. I appreciate that. So I've seen many people quit their job, which is 40 hours a week. I tell them, don't quit your job. It's rule number one. Rule number two is read rule number one all over again. Don't quit your job. All right, because when you go home and become an entrepreneur, you're probably going to work 60 hours and not make as much money as you did at 40 hours. All right, so let's talk about living in a free enterprise system. That means that you're going to be different. You might not fit into a corporate mold. All of that's okay. So I'm a big advocate of entrepreneuring. But you need to understand you're probably going to put in a lot more time and a lot more effort to be successful. So the average person doesn't know what they don't know. And that leads me into talking about these types of property deeds. So let's kind of talk about that for a little bit, because there's so many different kinds of deeds. It's very, very confusing. So the question is, what about a deed for land? What about a deed for property? What about a trust deed? They're all different kinds of names for things, okay? Most property buyers are trying to get a deed from a seller in the regular market, and they want the seller to give them a warranty deed. Well, that doesn't take much to think about that. A warranty deed says, all right, the title is clear. All right, so seller presents a warranty deed to the new buyer. The new buyer wants a clear title, and to make sure they get it, they go to a title company and they buy title insurance. All right, that's the normal market. Now, I work very closely with the people in the non-traditional market or the alternative investment market, which is tax-defaulted property and tax liens and tax deed. So that's an alternative market, okay? All right, now, we can do anything we want in that market. We can subdivide property. We try to buy at tax-defaulted auctions and buy for 10 and 20 cents on the dollar. What kind of deed do we get? Well, when we get a deed, we get it from the county. We don't get it from a normal sale process. So the county can issue any number of different kinds of deeds, which I'll talk about here in just a minute. So who am I? I'm Ted Thomas. I've been involved in the tax-defaulted business for over 30 years. Now, I discovered 30 years ago that there was many different types of land, many different types of real estate, many different kinds of deeds, okay? So none of this is really of interest to the average buyer. The average buyer just wants a home, they want to have a small lawn around it, they want to have a driveway, and they want to have a garage. That's what they want in a nice house to live in. That's what the average person wants, but it can get all complicated. So we buy, and I buy as an investor in the tax-defaulted market. So what if I buy a property that has too much of anything? I might want to take the property and subdivide it. All right, so 30 years ago when I started buying these properties, I found out I could buy property for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar. That was just the back taxes. How was I doing that? Well, I was buying it at tax-defaulted auctions. Now, what does that mean? That means all 3,000 plus counties in the United States are selling properties because people defaulted on their taxes. Now, maybe they died and didn't pay the tax. Maybe they just abandoned it. Maybe they just don't have the money. But what happens when you don't pay taxes, the local county will confiscate the property. They're going to take the property away. You lose your privilege of owning a property. So they take it away. What do they do with it? The county doesn't want the property, so they're simply going to sell it for very close to the back taxes. That means they're going to discount it from if the assessed value was high, whatever it was, 50,000, 100,000, they might discount it by 60, 70, 80%, all the way down to the back taxes, just to incentivize buyers. They want to get rid of it. So all the county wants to do is get rid of it. All right, now they're going to give you a deed? Yes. When you buy it from the county, you're going to get a deed, but it's going to be a quit claim deed. Wow. All right, now in the regular market, what do people want? They want a warranty deed, because the warranty is that the title is clear. Now, in the tax lien and deed business, the county is not warrantying anything. They're saying, we're not accepting anything. We're going to give you a quit claim deed, and we're not going to be responsible for any defect in the property or in the title. All right, so you could have different deed from the county than you got from an individual. All right, so in one instance, I bought a property, and the property was too big. It was a nice home on 12 acres. But when I went to sell it, people didn't want 12 acres. They wanted less than that. So I subdivided it. So I went and I talked to the experts at the county. Then I talked to brokers. I talked to other people, because you don't know what you don't know. And I found out I could subdivide it. So then I sold the property with 7 acres. Now it made it more saleable. And then I kept the 5 acres for myself. Now, why am I telling you that story? Because you just need to be flexible when it comes to real estate, especially when it comes to these deeds, because these deeds are going to be all different kind. So I'm going to go back into that, and I'm going to tell you that. So why am I telling you this? Just so you have flexibility. Now, when it comes to the county, they're going to sell a deed, which is called a quit claim deed. I did not say the word quick, meaning fast. I said quit, Q-U-I-T. That means they are quitting any responsibility. They have no responsibility for what they're selling you. They're going to sell you the property, but they're not going to be responsible for the title or the condition of the property. But they're going to sell it to us for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar with no mortgage, so we can sell it to anybody we want. All right, so what's the county's responsibility? Their responsibility is to collect taxes. Then they take that money they made from the collection of taxes and they give it to the county treasurer. The county treasurer then pays the county employees, pays the police department, pays the fire department, pays for the schools, pays for the school teachers. All right, so the county's job is to collect the property. Now, how do they get that job? Well, the state legislature in all the states, all 50 states, authorizes the Board of Supervisors and the county commissioners to mandate that the county treasurer levy tax to everybody and collect tax from everybody. All right, so once that happens, if the people won't pay the tax, what's the county going to do? Well, the county's going to confiscate that property. When they confiscate the property, then they want to sell it. So how will they sell it? They'll sell it on the county website, and they'll advertise it in the newspaper. Now, if you buy from the county, what you're going to do is you have raised your hand, you'll be the high bidder at the auction, you're going to get the property. They might give you a treasurer's deed. They might give you a sheriff's deed. They might give you a quitclaim deed. Well, they're all going to have the same effect. What does that mean? Well, if you read the document, even though it says a treasurer's deed, it's going to say right in it that the county is not responsible for any defect in the property or any defect in the title. If it says a sheriff's deed, it's going to be the same thing. They're not responsible. So there's different kinds of deeds. Now, we can go through lots of deeds, but the ones you need to know as a lay person, if you're buying property, regular real estate, you're trying to get a warranty deed, and the warranty is that you're buying clear title to make sure the title company will issue a title policy so you know that you're not buying anybody else's debt. All right, but I'm in the business, which is non-traditional, of tax defaulted property. Now, in tax defaulted property, who am I buying from? I'm buying at the lowest price possible from any one of 3,000 counties, which they can be any one of 5,000 auctions. I can do that online. I can do that offline. Okay. All right. So land brokers are a lot different than urban brokers. So urban brokers are specialists, buy and sell houses, small office buildings, things like that. But a land broker is altogether different. So they're going to tell you, is this grazing land? Is this agricultural land? Is this irrigation land? Is this just open land? Whatever. I mean, they're going to have lots of different designations. All right, now I'm running out of time. So before I finish, I want to warn you, don't buy a property unless you've already had boots on the ground and you looked at it, because you want to make sure that there hasn't been a flood on the property, and make sure there's been no fire. Make sure that you're not buying next to a pig farm or a chicken farm. So you want to make sure of all those things. So that's number one reason to look. Number two, look at the property so you can figure out what your exit strategy is going to be. You're going to have an outcome, what you're going to do with that land. So what's your exit strategy? If you know what you can sell it for, you won't pay too much money. I'm Ted Thomas. I'll see you on the next video. If you're interested in an auction list, there's a sample list right below me.